So I put out a video yesterday on YouTube, and basically, for those who didn't see it, I will put a link in the notes so that you can see it. But to summarize it so that this segment makes sense, it was about Patreon, but not just Patreon. And it was about how Patreon banned some guy named Sargon of Accurate or whatever, I don't know. Some guy hooked up with InfoWars and Alex Jones. And you know, on an individual basis, he's not exactly a guy that I'm that concerned about it. I think some people maybe thought that I was. I'm concerned about the business practices, and Patreon basically saying that, like, we have no respect for free speech whatsoever. And when I found out that, you know, what the guy said was a pretty nasty thing to say, but it was not even connected to his Patreon account, and they said they didn't care. I said, like, this is like kind of the last ditch for me with any sort of situation where people are monetizing their content and using a third-party platform to do it. And I recommended that people go out and basically, if you are a podcaster, a blogger, a video creator, anything like that, if you want to monetize it, you should basically follow my membership model. You do it your own way, but basically have a website of your own that people join, and all the extra stuff, whether it's discounts or free content or live chats, all the information for that is housed on your own website. And yeah, that'll cost you a little bit more money. And I also gave some warnings about YouTube and their membership program that they're doing for people now and all, and how I really, really don't recommend that. And I got a lot of people that were, you know, telling me that, you know, well, Jordan Peterson's working on his own, and I kind of mentioned in the video, the first one, that the problem is that it's centralized. So there's information out there that, as bad as Patreon is, that part of it is like their merchant account providers saying, you know, we're not going to act as your merchant account provider for all your other business as long as you're dealing with these certain people. And there was a purge of kind of the whole Alex Jones crowd, and that's a problem. But in general, it is not going to affect the average online personality. You're talking about somebody that's on, you know, a couple hundred radio stations and has this kind of media empire, and you know, say what you want, but I think like half of the stuff that comes out of his mouth is conspiracy theory nonsense. That said, he has a complete right to say it. But the danger of being on somebody else's platform is you don't have any customers. You don't have any customers. They have the customer. If you do the YouTube membership thing now, YouTube producers now have a thing, $5 a month, people can become your member, and you get like all this extra stuff you can do for them. And it's all run on the YouTube platform. That seems nice because it's integrated, but that's YouTube's customer that you get money for. You might have created the relationship, but they have it. That's their customer. With Patreon, you don't have any customers. Your patrons are Patreon's customers. They control the billing. They control the customer relationship. And the beauty of going to something like a membership site like I run is that you're my customer if you join my membership program. You are directly doing business with me. And then it started a whole shitstorm about, but if you use PayPal, then PayPal can shut you down. I'm like, it doesn't work that way. And people, I think, didn't understand it when I first said that in the comments. What I mean by that is, sure, PayPal can shut you down. But it's actually kind of like really risking lawsuit type stuff when you do that to an individual. It really is. Because you have to come up with a reason for doing that. So, well, Alex Jones is PayPal account. I don't care what happened to Alex. I do, but for you, and whether that's a risk or not, I don't care. But the bigger thing is, if you're running your own membership site, then you should be offering multiple forms of payment. And let's say PayPal says, we're not going to do business with you anymore because you're whatever. Well, okay, fine. That's all right. So then I'm just going to take my membership software and pull up all of my active members that pay with PayPal, and then I'm going to send them an email and say your account is going to expire on. When it does, your auto renew is going to fail. If you'd like to remain a supporting member of the MSB, then what you can do is go here and change your payment method. That's it. And most of you don't care who charges your Visa card or your MasterCard. You only care that it's safe and secure and the money goes where it's supposed to. That's all you care about. You don't give it. When you go buy something, you're not like, oh, this site uses authorized.net. I don't like authorized.net. Or this, you know, Jack uses Stripe. I don't like. You don't care. So that's the simple solution, that you set up your own site. But I realized there's like this desire for there to be a service. So I just thought I would take my entrepreneurial mind and say, if Jack was going to build this, what would Jack build? If I had unlimited resources, you know, a team of programmers sitting in my back, you know, sitting over there behind my desk instead of fish tanks, if those 4 angelfish were coders and I was going to code a solution to this, how would I do it? First of all, I want you to know something about Patreon. Patreon is not that sophisticated of a platform. It is pretty much a hacked up WordPress site, is all that it is. A multi-user WordPress site tied into a payment solution. Because all of the shit that patrons get from their providers, the person they're a patron of, they have to do it. Like, you know, Rob Bob from his aquaponics channel, he does live chats on Zoom or whatever. Well, he has to handle that. It's not like it's integrated. It's just a blog you post shit on. Like, if you want to be in the chat, you know, here's how you get there. Unless you're a patron, you wouldn't see that. That's all that it is. So, why did people use Patreon? Because people realized they had people that wanted to support them. Patreon became a thing, and it was easy. You didn't have to know much to be able to use it. You just had to fill out a form, and boom, you had basically this little mini website. And then your people could pay. Again, it's not that hard to do, but it is going to cost a few $100 to $1,000 for most people to do it right. And I do think that people like Jordan Peterson or anybody else that's going to try to do this, and they're going to try to do it as a Patreon clone for free speech, is going to create a target. And I do think there's going to be kind of like a big legal battle. And I think in the end, the good guys might win. But you're risking your shit while they fight that battle if you decide that's your new way to monetize things. And I'm back to the customer isn't yours. The customer is the customer of the platform. That's why Facebook can screw you by shutting down a page. All those people that you set up, or the group, all those people you set up that love you and follow you and love what you do, they're not your customers. You don't have a direct relationship with them. Facebook does. So they have the power. You're actually beholden to them. Now, you know, PayPal or Stripe or somebody shutting down your merchant account, it's not that it doesn't cause you problems. You have risk. You cannot do business from one business to another business, business to business, that affects your cash flow with any company ever, absent risk. It's impossible. It cannot be done. All you can do is mitigate the risk. But if I had this team of programmers, if my 4 angelfish were 4 angel programmers, and I was going to build a Patreon-like platform that tried to take it and make it cheap and easy and simple, where anybody could build a site, what I would do is create basically a site cloner. So, and you could set it with packages, like the guy would pay, or the gal that's doing it would pay for as much as they wanted, but it would be really cheap and really easy, and that would create your recurrent revenue model. And the beautiful thing in this is the guy that comes and uses your platform and makes $1,000 a month, if he's using $20 a month worth of services, he pays $20 a month. The guy that's using your software and what have you, if he's making $50,000 a month and he's using $20 worth of services, it still only costs him $20. And you'd have to do some bandwidthing stuff in scale, but in the end, you would be providing a service to this other business person for a fee. Basically, you would be providing managed web hosting in an environment where everybody's website is basically the same, but they host it on their own domain name, which is another $10 a year. And you just have a series of forms that they fill out, and boom, their site shows up. And if you build standard size footers and headers and come up with 2 or 3 different layouts, then that person can have a graphics designer. I need a graphic for my header this big and then my footer that big, and it's completely branded. And they could sign up in a day and turn it on. And then you'd have a back office where it says, and this is how membership software works. Just there wouldn't be an install and configuration, and when there's new versions, your company would do it for you instead of you doing it for yourself. But you would own the domain, you would own the database, they're your customers, and if you ever wanted to go to another membership platform, you would just export your members and import them to a new platform. And you would maintain the relationship. This is the key. You set up your merchant accounts with whoever you want. You make the back office. Here's your Stripe information. Here's your PayPal information. Here's your authorized.net. Here's that. Here's the other. Whatever. Every option. Mine has like 9 different preloaded options that I can use. A Member Pro. And it's something you have to own and host. I'm trying to do it in a hosted environment. And then that person could just fill out a form, boom, they have a membership website. They pay you for hosting, and again, kind of a managed hosting. You take care of updates and stuff like that. It all runs off a central programmed core. But then here, upload header, upload footer, layout number 3, color scheme red. Done. And there's nothing hard about that. Now, I don't know how to do it, but I know that there's nothing hard about that. A couple of coders that really wanted to make it happen could build that in a week. Now, people will say, well, why, Jack, why don't you go out and get some freelance coders to get this done? Because freelance coders suck. I've hired so many of you people, and you suck so bad, and you never finish a project, and you never get your shit done, and I will never do it again. If you think this is a good idea and you think you can do it, go do it, and then I'll support it. Now, here's the beauty. It is decentralized. Yes, there's a single host. That host could use multiple servers, and they should as they grow. Backups and throw things around, and it doesn't really have a thing to attack. Because the thing you can attack at a Patreon or a Peterson's free Patreon or whatever is that central processing of payments. Your payments come from your customers to you. I don't touch that. It's just like any other hosting package in the world. Now, what Patreon says, they want to build a community of creators. No, they don't. They don't give a shit. That's bullshit so that you'll use their platform. They don't give a flying F about a community of creators. They care about controlling their business their way, the way they want to. And the guy that is doing a blog about photography doesn't probably give a flying crap about some guy with a libertarian talk show who doesn't give a flying crap about somebody that's teaching people about fish aquariums. And I could just keep going. You don't need a community of creators. You need a monetization model for the individual to have a direct relationship with their customers and their supporters. And then communities can be built wherever the hell you want to. So now you go to YouTube, and we're going to reverse the stream here. Right now what happens, you go to YouTube, and your business model is what? Your business model is ads on the YouTube channel, or YouTube membership, or you're pushing people over to Patreon. All this sucks. Because the only thing you are incentivized to do is get more and more subscribers on YouTube. That's how you make more money. You take this model, whether it's your own site, which I would not wait for somebody to do this for you. I'm just saying the enterprising person that builds it might find a really big market to sell to, because a lot of people will never do it. Okay? But you now have a place to send people to that you own, you control, it's yours. So now, what are you trying to do on YouTube every time you're on YouTube? Hey, come on over to my site. Hook up with me there. I got extra stuff for you. When you're on Facebook and you're running you're the Facebook group founder, you can push that shit to those people all the time. Know you love Facebook, but I got bonus shit. I got this. I got that. Subscribe to my podcast. Whatever it is, come get on my mail list. And you take these social media outlets, and instead of continuously feeding them, you use them to feed yourself. And that way, let's say one day Facebook shuts down your great Facebook group. And you're pissed. And I'd be pissed too. And it sucks because you've lost an asset. But the most valuable people that were part of that asset, the ones that supported you the most, the ones that cared about you the most, the ones that always wanted to be there for you, guess what? They're now still with you. Now, you can say, dear supporters, thank you so much for being part of this. As you know, today Facebook shut down our group because fill in reason. I think this is abhorrent. But I am done dealing with Facebook for this group. I don't think it makes sense for us to go start another group just so they might shut down someday. So I am founding a new group over at blah, 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 blah. To join the group, go here and sign up. And now you just move your people, and then you start pulling from that platform. And if that platform bones you one day, you're like a swarm now. And your swarm gets bigger and bigger every time it moves. Because the one thing that will actually make those people follow you. See, the thing is right now, if you're on Facebook, you have an active group, 50,000 people in it. Everybody loves the group. You're like, I'm going to start a site over on MeWe. They're like, you know, dude, I'm already on Facebook. But if Facebook's stupid enough to take that away from them, now they've lost something. Now that group that they were an active member in is gone. Now they have an incentive. And this is why these companies have been careful with how much banning they do. Every time they ban somebody, they have the ability to push them away. If you create a centralized point of harvest, and I mean that in a good way, I'm not about using people. I'm talking about people that actually love what you do and want to support you. You create that centralization for yourself, decentralized from them, then what you have the ability to do is to move those people when you get screwed. And that's the problem so many of these people have. They don't have any place to move people to. They don't have the direct relationship. So that's my solution. You can do it on your own, and I recommend that is what you do now. You don't wait for anybody. But somebody's out there and can code their ass off and knows how to do what I just said, man, I think that would be a great way to go. So if you want to hear a lot of other great stuff on that note, I do a show called The Survival Podcast. This is the last segment of today's show. There's a link in the video notes so you can get on over and listen to the rest of the show. Come listen to me. You might enjoy it. We get listened to by about 200,000 people a day. And I'll tell you how that happens. Those of you listening to me on YouTube that have no idea who I am. Those of you who listen to me on YouTube that think I'm a bit of an asshole because this is the first time you ran into me and I have my kind of abrasive quality. I'm going to tell you how I did that. I did that because for 10 years, I did exactly what I just told you you should be doing in this video. Instead of, I'm going to send people to Facebook, I used Facebook to bring people to me. So when Facebook screwed everybody that had a page and basically started charging you to show your content to your people, I already had them. People find me on YouTube, come on over, check out the podcast. Because a follower on YouTube isn't really worth much. But a customer that loves you, trusts you, respects you, appreciates you, that's in your database that you can talk to anytime you want, that has value. Come on over. We'll show you how you do it by just doing it. And you can just emulate what we're up to. Check out.